25, almost 30 years ago, I was a big follower of Jim Rohn and Tony Robbins, and they talk a lot about Napoleon Hill. And I just, for years, I kind of watched it from the outside, and it wasn't until about 5 years ago that I actually bought the book. I bought Think and Grow Rich. I bought the audiobook. I listen to it literally once or twice a week because I love to listen to certain chapters. Right now I'm on auto-suggestion, which I really, really love, that whole idea of self-talk. And
right.
and then I went and dove deep, and I got into Law of Success, which is sort of like the really thick, detailed version, kind of like
600 pages.
Yeah, it's an amazing. I think I heard you on a live stream talk about it, and you literally just go crazy because it has so much information. But it's a great place. It's a great place to go to. I call it the Google of personal development. If you really want to Google personal development, read Law of Success and Think of Grow Rich. All of your answers are all right there.
Definitely, I agree with that. However, one thing that I already mentioned on another video is I never introduce people to Law of Success initially because I get them started on this because it's very scary. If they start on Think and Grow Rich, they get the, even though this was written after that, I think this is much easier to digest. And once they get to know this and the terminology and all that stuff, they love Law of Success. I mean, then they put this aside. They don't even pay attention to Think and Grow Rich. They only do Law of Success.
Well, it's sort of like let's imagine you're trying to be a professional swimmer, right? You don't jump in the ocean right away. You jump in the pool, right? And Think and Grow Rich is like swimming in the pool and doing your laps. And then when you're ready, then you do the Ironman and jump into the Law of Success ocean. And then you don't want to go back to the pool. So it's pretty awesome. It's pretty exciting. I really feel like the Law of Success is sort of filled in the gaps for me, where Think and Grow Rich kind of gives me the broader story. But then again, if you follow Napoleon Hill for so long, if you follow the teachings of Napoleon Hill, if you think about auto-suggestion and the subconscious and just the teachings behind it, you can really put them together, and it fits very, very well.
I agree with that. So what was the first thing that popped out to you when you read Think and Grow Rich? I know you've had a lot of experience with Jim Rohn, other individuals, but when you read Think and Grow Rich, what stood out? What were probably the two things that stood out initially?
It's a great question. So a lot of things come to mind when I think about the Think and Grow Rich, but I think the one thing that came to mind was the power of the subconscious. I never really thought about that because you read a lot of books about psychology and you think about the subconscious, and the subconscious is this sort of esoteric thing that only psychologists talk about. When you think about it, everything in business and life is all based on your psychology, it's all based on your mindset. And when I started to read about the subconscious and I got into auto-suggestion, I started to realize, wow, if I tell myself better stories and if I think better, I'm probably going to feel better. It took me time to get there because I thought, well, this is all hocus pocus, this is not real. But when I started to read like the results of auto-suggestion and really implanting thoughts into your subconscious, like when you change your habits, I'm like, wow, it really works. And then I took that and I started to journal from it. And then my journaling took me on a whole different journey, using the subconscious mind as sort of the basis for everything that I do.
I love it. I love it. So what is it that you do now, and how do you apply Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill's philosophy, in your day-to-day?
Okay. So I run a sales strategy, consulting, and sales training business. So I work with entrepreneurial companies anywhere from 1 to 5 people up to 100 people, and I help them really strategize about how they want to grow their sales geometrically. And a lot of the teachings that I learned from Think and Grow Rich, specifically around mindset and the subconscious, is, when you think of a sales leader, the sales leader is faced with so many challenges. They're trying to fill their pipeline with qualified opportunities. They're trying to make sure they have a sales process in place. They want to make sure people are accountable and focused. And you think of accountability and focus. That's sort of like the needle that gets threaded to the entire story of Think and Grow Rich. So I always remind customers and entrepreneurs, listen, if you just stop for a second and just really focus on what the end game is, we can back into it. But you got to tell yourself that you can do this. It can't be this overwhelming, this overarching thing that you can't accomplish. The famous term, how do you eat an elephant? One piece at a time. You chunk it down. And the thing with Napoleon Hill is that it teaches you that you have control over all the things that happen in your life. You can't control things that you don't have control over, but you can control how you react to it and how you respond to it. And these are things that were written so many years ago that people don't realize this isn't something that's brand new that just came out. This is something that's happening right now. And people, I mean, think about the Tony Robbins of the world, the Darren Hardys of the world. You think about all these super successful authors and speakers, Ray Dalio, all of these very famous, successful people. They all base their life on meditations, subconscious, mindset. It's all based on the teachings of Napoleon Hill.
I love it. You touched up on the right. It's my hot button, mindset. If you got that, and I was working with my agents last night in my office, and I was mentioning to them that you could have the best thoughts, best ideas, you could have your faith together, you could sit there, write the best plan, but if you don't put action to it, it ain't gonna happen. That's why Napoleon Hill, the order that the chapters go through, it's like that. You got to have the burning desire. You got to have your faith together. These are the steps that you got to do. But more important than anything else, you got to go to work. You got to put some efforts behind it.
Let's talk about this for a quick. I think this is an important interjection point. Think about all of the millennials or the 20-somethings or early 30-somethings. They're trying to build their business. They put time into it for like 6 months or a year, and they give up. Well, it's not happening, and I'm watching this fitness person or this network marketing person. They're all being successful. What they don't realize is that they've spent years and years of planning. And what the most important thing is, and the reason why 95% of businesses fail, is they don't know how to consistently focus and execute. And that's what Napoleon Hill teaches you. It teaches you about, these are great things you can do. You can write things down on paper. You can journal. I'm a page 61 Napoleon Hill Think and Grow Rich guy. You can write page 61 100 times, but if you don't put action behind it, they say if you want to track that money, if you want to track those good things, you got to have a plan. And when you receive that plan, you're going to execute on that plan. And the reason why most businesses fail is because people want that instant gratification. They want it to happen overnight, and it just doesn't happen that way. And what people hire me for is, listen, you can get all the things that you want to learn about a business in Think and Grow Rich. But what I do is I give you the accountability, the focus, and the execution that gets you there using those principles.
I agree with that 100%. You got to put some action behind it. If not, nothing is going to happen. That's it. But then keep in mind, it takes 20 years to become an overnight success.
Absolutely.
It's not one of those things you could do in 6 months or a short period of time.
Absolutely.
I had a strategy meeting with our mastermind group, and it went till like 1 o'clock in the morning. And I was telling them, and we were sitting down. It was like 4 or 5 of us. We were sitting down, and I was mentioning. I said, the plan and the structure and the funnel that I'm creating of what to do in social media expansion is for the next 5 years.
Yes.
If you guys are planning on getting results next month or next 6 months, listen, this is not the group for you.
Right.
If you're planning on putting, a lot of work, a lot of energy, effort, money, investment, all of these different things for the next 5 years, you work your face off, and then in 5 years, we can talk about it, where we're at, and then what to do next. But if you're looking for a couple of months, this is not the group for you. It ain't gonna work. I'm not expecting any results where it's tangible conversion of money, next month, because that's not a business.
Right.
You want to make quick money, go do Uber, go do this, go do that. You get paid the same week and you're good to go. But if you want to build a business that's going to pay you passive income for the next 10, 20, 30 years, you got to put in 5 solid years. Absolutely. And I'm talking about solid 5 hard, you got to work smart and hard at the same time.
It's funny, I spoke to a friend of mine who's an entrepreneur, and I asked him point blank, his name's Chris. I said, Chris, you've been in this business for a while. When did it really start to take off? Because I remember he was working for a company and he was